Welcome back to Between the Levees. I'm joined today by Captain Ben Henson, another pilot off the mighty motor vessel Port Allen. Ben, thank you for joining me.
No problem.
Well, all these begin the same way, man. Tell me, where were you born?
Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at the famous Earl K. Long Hospital. It no longer exists.
Did you grow up in Baton Rouge?
No, I grew up all over the place, man. We moved around a lot. Bayou Saul, Plaquemine, Addis. I've lived in Arkansas for like a year total. Some in Baton Rouge, and wound up settling down here in Denham Springs because I had kids. Good school systems out here.
Yeah. Well, what did your parents do for a living?
My mom, she's always worked some kind of office job, courthouses, anything management, type jobs. My dad, he was the only job I've ever known him to have was just commercial fisherman, catching crawfish, living off the woods.
Okay. And I know, of course, one brother. How many siblings did you have?
So my dad had 7 total. Randy was in the first litter, Randy Henson. They had 4. I'm the oldest of the second litter. So it was 7 of us. Was it 2 of them? So 5 of us left.
Okay. Did you have much interest in school growing up?
Yeah, school was kind of easy for me. We, I don't know, we kind of ran around, did what we wanted. I never really did homework or anything. I didn't like that part, but I still passed no problem. Seems like it was a lot easier back then than it is now, because I can barely do the homework nowadays.
Roger. What was childhood growing up outside of school?
Oh man, I guess typical 90s, man. We just ran everywhere, played a lot of sports, man. I did that most of my teen years. We would get on our bikes and just take off across town and go to the baseball park and play baseball from we woke up to dark. And we'd actually go cut on the lights at the park and play some more. Same with basketball and football. I generally do pretty good at all sports. I beat everybody.
You did finish up high school?
Yeah.
Well, tell me about the time from high school till you went into the industry.
When I got out of high school, I think I had like a couple, just didn't really know where I was going jobs. I think I helped somebody paint for a couple months, and I met my kid's mother, and she wound up pregnant. So I called Randy. I was like, hey man, I need a job. I need a legitimate job. I mean, this stuff ain't going nowhere. I'm working a couple of days a week, and he got me hired on, man, and never looked back.
And was Randy the first one into the industry?
Yeah. I had another brother who was a tankerman, but he didn't. When I was older, he was already out of it. That was Randy's first litter. First batch.
Been trying to get Randy on the show for a while now. I guess tell me real quick. Do you know how he found the industry? How he got in?
Man, I want to say, back at Capital Fleet. Now, this is before my time. When Randy started out there, I was still riding my bike across town, go and play baseball and whatever, stand up all night playing video games and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure it's probably through, like I said, Capital Fleet was a lot of old pilots, all from the Plaquemine area and Bayou Sorrel. We had Sonny Pierce and Cohen. He's from Plaquemine, but I kind of Donnie Cannella. I don't know if you know him, but it was kind of like people used to say, like, how did you get hired on out there? You had to know somebody. And I'm pretty sure it would have been like that. If I had to guess, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure he knew somebody that worked out there that brought him in.
Well, fill me in on your first experience getting out there on a boat. What was deckhand onboarding for Capital? It was Capital Marine at the time?
Yeah, Capital Fleet.
Okay.
Well, I remember my first day out there. Instead of going in the galley, I was just sitting on the front of the boat. It was little. I don't. You remember Cowboy? Johnny Williams? He might have been gone by the time you was over.
I think if I'm not mistaken, did he pass like 2018?
Yeah, few years ago.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think I was working for Ingham already, and I never did get to. I never knew him, but I remember it
Yeah.
happening.
Well, that's who I started with, and I don't know. It was just crazy, man. Coming, 18, 19, doing whatever I wanted, working a few days a week till being on a steady schedule, working 12 hours, just going to nights. The atmosphere was a lot different. We had to have work boots at that point, but I mean, I used to wear muscle shirts. I rarely had a light at night. There was one time I was working on empties, and I decked by myself for, man, I want to say 6, 8 months at a time. And I was out there by myself, and it's dark out there, no headlights, so the empties, they were offset a little bit, and there were gaps. Well, I couldn't see the gap, so I just couldn't, step down. Well, just my tippy toes caught on the next empty, and they kind of like threw me back. And at that point, I had a light from then on out. And I tell every person, I have nephews that's starting out there now, and anytime I get a deckhand, I'm like, man, never ever step into a shadow, because those empties were kind of doing like this. So I would have fell in between them, and they would have kind of, as the river rock, they would have kind of just chewed me up, and just different times, man. I know people used to jump off the barges, off the boat, and God forbid nowadays.
Any other interesting stories of sort of your entry into the industry on deck?
No, it was pretty much simple, man. I was always just kind of try to do my job the best. I never missed work. I hated like short paychecks and stuff. So I was always kind of shoot down the middle type.
So have you worked with Cohen and Randy the whole time?
I worked with Randy. Man, me and Randy worked the same shift pretty much until he became ops. Other than the last 2 years, he transferred, and that's when they made me coordinator. I forget whose spot he took, but he let me see. Yeah, and Cohen, I was always around Cohen. Never worked on Cohen's watch. I've been relieving him now probably the last, I don't know, I told you earlier, I'm not good for dates, man. Probably 4, 5 years. I don't know how long I've been coordinating, but other than that, with Cohen, just, hey, how you doing? I'm leaving.
Well, was Randy in the wheelhouse when you got out there?
Oh yeah, Randy was he was well established by the time I got out there. He was coordinator actually for Capital back when we had 2 boats, and I'm not sure how long. He was probably up at least say 7 or 8 years. He was coordinating at that point. He's 10 years older than I am, so. But yeah.
Did you deck for him directly?
I did. So I started out with Cowboy. Probably it was less than a year, and I caught on pretty good, pretty quick. So somehow or another, Randy, it might have been my uncle actually. He got injured out there. A winch was pulling the old unit office when it used to be by downtown Baton Rouge, and a winch hit him and slung him back like 20 feet. And so he went out, and I want to say I took his spot, and it was within the first year, and I decked with Randy until I became a captain. Actually, Randy trained me. I was Randy's steersman for the entire, 18 months. So I went from pretty much my whole career with Randy to the wheelhouse. So that's probably why I know the fleet so well.
Did he ride you pretty hard? Or it was a pretty good learning experience.
I've always had that respect with, understood that we were related, you know, so, Randy's, we kept a, that respect as a work, you know, we wasn't family at work. You know, I realized that I was hit there. I mean, we had our moments, you know, but far and few between, man. It was great. Well, I deck by myself, so he would take off up the river with a barge. I go up there, and you know, he'll let me steer the boat while I went relaxed a little bit. But yeah, no, Randy pretty much showed me everything.
Well, fill me in on your time, I guess, working up from deckhand up to the wheelhouse.
Man, I decked for, I want to say 5 years, and at that point we just worked. You know, I guess it was like an outside fleet for Ingram, and like I say, 5 years, and then that's with Capital. I'm trying to get my dates right here. Sorry. And then Ingram bought us out. So 5 years into me decking, Ingram bought us out. Well, it was like the first month of Ingram buying us out, they made me a steersman because I was kind of steering. I had my license already with Capital, so they kind of just, and Capital didn't have a legitimate steersman program. It was kind of like mom pops, you know, here's the paperwork. And man, within 2 years with Ingram, I was turned loose in the fleet. Never left the fleet. Like nowadays, you know, steersmen have to go down the triangle and go in the canal. So I always tell everybody on the river, man, I can get you anywhere you want on the river as long as it's in Baton Rouge. I have to call Aaron often. I'm like, man, what river is this? I'm looking at tow diagrams, and I'm like, man, I don't, you know. So I probably asked you that a few times when, you know, we used to work together.
Oh, good. So what boat were you running, I guess, prior to the jump to the port? What boats have you run?
I've run, well, there was a day or two. I run everyone in the fleet. A couple at Triangle. That was short lived. That's when the coal industry took a hit, so they shut down me leaving the area because they had to pay. I had to go on my days off, and you know how they cut back. That was at that, you know, when the economy was real low, and so they just kind of cut back on that. And other than that, just all the fleet boats, man. The one I worked primarily on is the Inland Star. That was best boat we got. It's my favorite boat still, but the Cadillac boat.
Oh, Cohen loves that Port Allen. What'd you think about that little boat?
Port Allen is probably, now I say Inland Star because it's comfortable, and the Port Allen, that's a whole different machine, man. That boat's good. That's a good boat. I think they'll do well to design a lot of fleet boats after the Port Allen, and it's strong, man. No matter what river stage, you can downstream on empties, and it's just not sketchy, man. It just glides on the water. You can sit sideways on tows in high river, and the boat don't dip or any of that stuff. A lot of boats, even the Star, man, like you get, I don't know, a third of the way around, and the whole, you can see the river start lapping up on the boat. You can't squeeze toes together or anything, especially on the anchor tiers. But Port Allen is a mean little boat. It's just not comfortable. Shake your teeth out, especially twin screwing or anything like that. No tires, it's all rubber. So you really got to finesse it headlining, because I mean, it'll come in, man. And it's so light. I want to say I can't remember the paperwork, like 56 on the paperwork. It's heavier than that now because of all the stuff they added to it. But man, that boat will hit, and the reaction is like boom, man. It'll jar you. You're like, golly, not refrigerator flies and coffee flies everywhere. But it is a good boat, man. If it was the Ashley, make it like the Ashley. Just it's a bigger Port Allen. But then no, they're good fleet boats, man. They're so fast. Like that crew comes work over on my boat, man, and they'll get back on the boat and they'll take off their life jacket, and this is what my deckhands will tell me. I'll bump up and I'm like, man, we here already? It'll get you in the fleet, man. That boat's so fast, and it's got so much power for its size that you do everything so quick. Like, man, if you ground it in the fleet all day or all night, it'll wear you out. But that's a good boat, man. Just not, I'm longer than the wheelhouse, so, and I'm
Yeah,
not a giant.
I've been up there a few times, I think with each of
Yeah.
y'all. I
Yeah.
know. I was up there with Richard, Aaron, and a guest from Nashville a while back. That was a tight squeeze with 4 people crammed up in that little closet. But
Oh yeah.
you said you have some nephews coming in to the industry?
Yeah, they're not with Ingram right now. They're with and neighboring fleets, but yeah, just turned 18, man. Two of them, well, one of them's my nephew and a couple of cousins, but yeah. Yep, they seem to like it.
You think it's becoming a family tradition? I mean, is this your career? You're going to be out there till retirement?
Oh yeah, yeah, no doubt, man. It's I guess they see, where you can end up. I mean, it pays well, as long as you handle your business. So they look at, I guess, that aspect, and it's stable, like the stability. Like you always know when you're gonna be at work, when you're gonna be off, what you're gonna get paid, and if you play your cards right, you know where you can end up, and as far as even with like Randy, shore side, I mean, you can go tanking. So yeah, I mean, they see where I'm at, and I'm pretty responsible with my money. I've recently paid off my house, and I built it in 2014. So right now I have zero debt other than Amazon purchases.
How many kids you have?
I have 2 that I'm only parent of, and I have a third
Okay.
midlife crisis.
Do you think, or is it all girls? Any boys in the mix?
I have a boy and a girl, 2 girls.
Do you expect the boy will follow behind you?
I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I ain't gonna say he ain't, but I like to steer him more so towards maybe landside type jobs, because I mean, working shift work, and I have a different perspective because I am an only parent. And I mean, I miss a lot, I mean, I work a lot, 12 hours, 10 days straight. So I would say I'll leave it up to him, but it's not something he grows up, saying. Well, actually, he did one time. He's like, when I was in high school, I worked at McDonald's, and he's like, I'm gonna work at McDonald's. And I think I worked at Sonic or somewhere. He's like, I'm gonna work at Sonic, then I'm gonna be a captain. So I mean, he did that when he was young, out of loyalty, I guess. But I don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't be against it. It's just I'll let him choose his path.
How old is he now?
16.
Okay.
So I guess we're about to find out, huh?
Yeah, without a doubt. What about the girls? What are they chasing after?
My daughter wants to be a doctor. Yeah, aim high. Yeah, but I mean, we'll see how that goes. She does good. She does pretty good in school, so she's a little social butterfly.
Well, finally, man, share with me what has this industry meant to you?
Man, it's this gave us a good life. It's I provide great for my family and my kids. I even help out, other people when I can, and it's been a lot, man. Like I have nothing negative to say about it. I mean, shoot, it got me where I'm at today. I'm debt free. I'm 39 years old. My house is paid off. I mean, that means a lot,
Without a doubt. I think that'll do it. This will be a quick one, but that's all right.
Yeah, I'm still kind of beat, man, from the trip. I've been sleeping all day. I'm still wore out. We just got in yesterday, so
Well, I appreciate you hopping on, man. I'm glad we could finally get this done.
Yes, sir. All right, man.
We'll keep in touch.
This has been a production of Where You At Studios, LLC.